Good. Good morning. Today is February 2nd, 2023. And Elise, tell me, are we growing on one side and becoming taller? How are you feeling and how are you doing? And your hair looks beautiful,
Well,
by the way. I love your hair.
oh, thank you. I got a little cut. Yeah.
Very pretty.
Thank you. I like this length as well.
Yeah.
Reminds me of when I was 6.
Mhm. If
uh,
only we could.
I had unfortunately, Elinor, I had a fall on Sunday. I was drawing my bath and I was bending over to put the plug into, to turn the plug on my bathtub.
Uh-huh.
And I was supporting my arm on the side of the bath, and it was wet, so it slipped. And
Mhm.
I think
Wait, do you slipped on the bath mat?
no, I was actually I think I was sitting. My toilet is next to my bath. I think I was sitting on the toilet seat, so I wasn't standing. I was bending over, but so I wasn't standing. I didn't fall from a great height, but what I did do was I fell onto my ribs on the left side, on the side of the bath,
Uh,
and
against the tub?
against the tub. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
And so I haven't had an X-ray yet. I was hoping it was just bruised, but I'm pretty sure that there are going to be at least one fracture. So it's not terrible. Some movements are very difficult. Like for instance, getting up from lying down on the bed is not easy. I have to roll over and I have to pull myself up, but it's painful.
Even if it was bruised, it would be that way.
Yeah, yeah, and it might very well just be bruised. I never had any problems with my ribs, so I have no idea what the threshold is. Um, Sorry, this is supposed to be off. Um, so, um, so there's
Okay,
another issue for
there's
me, but I thought I wanted to see you today because I
yeah,
thought you would have
yeah,
some good advice.
absolutely. Are you ready?
Yeah,
Okay, so let me write down my note. Um, of you said left side.
under my boob, I that's where I have these big pendulous
Oh,
boobs, and it was under my boob. Unfortunately, I wish my boob was had been in the way. That would have been very helpful. But so it's the ribs just under my breast.
right. Okay. Lesson of hold on. I know what I'm going to do with you. I just want to write this in here. Um, okay, good. Um, Holy cow. Well, I can't say holy cow because it could always be voice.
Yeah, that's that's what I think too. Of course. And I looked it up, and it looked like there would be about a month of healing if it were fractured, and like 2 to 4 weeks if it isn't. So it's not going to interfere with my operation in April, thank God, because that would have been devastating
Hip operation.
in end of April, they say. They haven't given me a date yet.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, right. Um, uh, Okay. Well, you just happen to be at the right place and the right time.
I knew I was.
I'm so glad we're meeting. Okay. So you're not the first person this has happened to. All my great teachers who are women, this has happened to.
Really?
Oh my goodness. Hello. Name one that it hasn't happened to.
Amazing. Amazing.
So it's a fall into the edge of the tub, a fall into the edge of a stair, same thing,
Yeah, of course.
or a trip and fall into a table edge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
give you the list of edges
Mm, mm.
that have injured some of the most marvelous women who have come up with marvelous work,
Right. Right. Good.
right? So, gosh, too bad. Too bad you can't. I wonder if I could share it with you. So the Feldenkrais Guild did an interview with me that just came out last, like Friday, Thursday or Friday, and I'm wondering how to get you the interview.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, and the interview actually is about working with long COVID
Oh,
and and how doable how doable it is. I don't know if are in touch. Hold on, let me send a message to someone. Hold on. I think it may be. I'm texting our guild president.
mhm.
Okay. I will find out. Let's see if she sends me a message back. But listen, oh, okay, just want to write that in there. Okay. So here's the thing. So what you can do is hurting a rib, whether you fell on the rib, bruised the rib, or cracked the rib, or broke the rib. We're going to do the same thing every time,
Mhm. Okay.
which is so you're saying it's I was going to go up here. You're saying it's the left rib under the breast.
Mm.
So what you can do is you can take your right, well, first let's start with just sitting there because you already tilted all the way to the right.
Hello.
I know, just saying. So let's start with the beginning where you're just sitting and you rock a little bit from one sit bone. So let's say this is my butt cheeks right here, and here are the sit bones. So rock from one sit bone to the other. Beautiful. With the idea of the spine bending. I'm so glad we're doing this because it's a little bit of incorporating the last lesson.
Absolutely. Which
So
I've
the
been doing, so it's very easy to do.
exactly that you just said is neuroplasticity.
Right.
And that is a great sign of aging well.
Well,
Neuroplasticity.
you could have fooled me.
You know what? Our reaction time, our protective devices, right? Who is the person who's likely to fall? Is the person who's protecting something around them.
Right, right.
So one of my kitties, not Mr. Kitty, one of my kitties, name unsaid, I believe peed on our bath mat outside the shower. She does things like that when something is awry or amiss with an animal in the house. So I can always tell if something's not okay with someone because she'll pee.
Amazing.
She's done that since she was a kitten.
Amazing.
And in the beginning, I didn't understand it. So I gave her away. I couldn't stand having my cat pee until she started doing it at their house eventually after a few months, and they gave her back to us. So, and that's when I recognized she only did it when something was wrong. Okay.
Amazing. Amazing.
But needless to say, no matter what I did, I couldn't get the pee out of the bath mat. I couldn't. And it was my favorite. It's a Vera Wang. I know it's from Kohl's. It doesn't matter. But it was a nice purple bath mat, the color purple I like, and you can't get them anymore. I gave up after a week of using this special clean, threw it away. So much against my intelligence, I told my husband, look at my face. I have no choice. I'm putting a hand towel on the floor.
That you can watch.
Right. Towels are dangerous. They are
Yeah,
slippery.
totally. Totally.
I am asking you to remember, because what I will do to remind you, every time we get out of the shower and I dry off my feet, I will hang it over the tub. That means you physically have to pick it up and put it on the floor before you get in the shower. Let
Mm,
that be your reminder. You are
mm,
putting a slippery towel on the floor
mm, mm,
so
mm.
that when you get out of the shower,
You're careful.
you are watchful of what you're doing,
Exactly.
right? You are careful.
Mm,
Now, it's interesting when I get out of the shower, I'm mobile, movable. I'm not a slip and fall hazard yet in my life,
mm,
but I believe my husband is definitely a slip and fall hazard, or
mm,
he's moving in that direction.
mm.
And he has a bum knee that definitely needs to be replaced. It's in such bad condition. His femur and his tibia and fibula are both bowed. All three are bowed out to the. It's
Really?
like his whole leg is like the letter C, and he walks like this.
Oh,
Falls on that, until I go, Steve, listen to the sound of your walk
mm,
and just let the sound correct itself. And suddenly he walks like this. So I go, your bow has nothing to do with it. So, it's falling on a side. I am not falling. No, that's what we call it in gait. When you land
yeah,
on it hard, it's a fall on that side.
right.
Why is it a fall on that side? Because if something happens in a moment, you're out of balance and you will fall.
Ah, I
Okay.
see.
So now it ends up so far so good that the little hand towel is not slippery, and I watched him get out. Now, right? So the thing is you have to look. If I were a professional ballerina, if I were to start to fall, I would
Let
spiral up.
yourself go. Oh, I see.
I would do there would be
Mm,
a ballerina has so much balance in every direction.
mm,
The center of me wouldn't fall,
mm, mm, mm.
which is what brings me to last week's lesson.
I see what you're saying.
Right. So here's the sit bones. We talk about tilting from one side to the other. We've done
Mhm.
that. And last week, we changed our center of balance thinking. Our focal point is tilt one ear to the shoulder and then tilt the other ear to the shoulder. And then what do you notice happen all the way down your spine and your body? Right? Isn't
Yes,
that beautiful? So
it is
now,
absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
so what we're doing, Elise, is little by little, we're turning you into the professional ballerina. We're turning you in, waking up the agelessness versus the ageful. We're
Got it.
taking you into this agelessness of this ability to move so that when something starts to slip, it doesn't mean we always have to go down.
Right.
We can spiral, we can move, we can roll, we could do a lot of things. It also doesn't mean we won't fall because sometimes we're at such an angle, right?
Hmm.
Now, what precludes that is a stiffness in areas of the body
Of course, of course.
or a protection, right? So your
Hmm.
protection is around your hip and other places that have been hurt, shoulder, like that. My husband's protection would probably be around his knee. So, and he would go shorter on that side. So I know what side he would immediately go to. So it's like, oh, well, what's there? You know, maybe he's lucky to be married to me because I'm always thinking these things.
Of
So it's like,
course.
right? How do you plan your house so you age well? And, where do you put the handlebars? I don't want to call
Yeah,
them grab
yeah,
bars,
yeah, yeah.
things like that. We don't use the ones with suction cups. We use the ones that are drilled in, right? The
Yeah,
suction cup ones are dangerous. I've tried them in the past and they literally just
I'm
unsuck people
sure.
and
I'm sure.
everybody falls. So keep in mind, there's so much we can do. So we can tilt the pelvis one side and the other. And remember last week we talked about the heels.
Yes.
So when you tilt the pelvis one side and the other, notice what happens to the heels.
Hmm.
Okay, hold on, I'm writing that down. I always say, forgive me for writing the notes, but they're so helpful.
Oh, no, 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 no. I totally understand.
So as you tilt that from side to side, right? Now we can add the hand on the steering wheel.
Now, when you've got your hand on your sternum, are you actually pressing or you're just
Oh,
holding them?
yeah. There's a little bit of a landing,
Okay.
but we're not pressing by this. We're not pressing by pushing it in,
Right.
right? We're making a contact. That's all we're doing is we're making a contact to the sternum to wake up our ability to remember the connection back to that thoracic vertebrae.
Right. Got it.
So what we're doing is when we tilt the pelvis from one sit bone to the other, we add the steering wheel, and it may be hard to visualize that thoracic vertebrae. So what we do is if we turn to one side, we tilt one elbow down and the other elbow up without raising the shoulders. And then we turn the steering wheel to the other side and we lower the other elbow and lift the other elbow. That makes sense.
Mm,
So if I'm turning my steering wheel, I don't know which way you want to call this one. If I turn my steering wheel,
right.
yeah. So my right elbow comes up, my left elbow comes down. I turn the other way, my left elbow comes up. But it's not that I'm doing anything through the shoulder.
Right.
And I'm feeling that connection go down my spine so that I end up sitting on one sit bone more than the other, and then I pay attention to the heels. And it's a micro movement. You know what it is? It's a micro stimulation in a biological process that makes it stimulates that heel to want to come up. It's stimulating the contralateral biological process.
Can you explain to me the heel? What exactly happens in the heel again?
Okay, so last time we were talking about the lessons including the heels.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's say when I turn my steering wheel, let's just say when I lower my right elbow and raise my left elbow, let's say that means I'm turning to the right. Which way do you want to call that? When I lower my right elbow and lift my left elbow.
You're turning your head to the left. You're turning your body to the right. Yes. Yes. You're bending. You're
I'm
doing
bringing my right ear to my
to
right
your, yeah.
shoulder. This is my right ear. I mirror image.
Yes.
So that's correct. So what direction would you say you're turning your steering wheel there?
Toward the left.
Okay, so you're turning your steering wheel to the left. Gotcha. Okay. So when we're turning the steering wheel to the left, notice what happens with your left heel. Does
Ah,
something get
got it. It comes up.
it comes up? It may not physically come up
I know.
the
Yes.
eye, but it would be measurable if we put some kind of monitor underneath it. It would see the initiation. That's what we're looking for. In the initiation of that, the instigating of that is the waking up of a biological process.
Got it.
And when
Okay.
we wake up a biological process, put, everything comes online.
I see. I
Everything comes
understand.
online because it's not oh, you are coming to me with this, so we must strengthen those muscles. And then we're going to strengthen those muscles. No, for God's sakes, a newborn baby doesn't develop that way. A newborn baby develops, a toddler develops, a child develops through biological systems coming online and waking up. Not because they made sure to exercise one half of the body and then another group of muscles.
I
That
understand.
just doesn't happen that way.
I
Now I know
understand. I
it's
understand.
right. So what we do is if we're turning the steering wheel where the left elbow comes up and the right elbow comes down, and you're calling that steering to the left, you're going to feel something happen to the weight of the left
Yes.
heel. And notice if you feel something tickle almost in the left thigh. There's something that happens to the whole left leg.
Yes. I understand.
What do you notice?
Well, I think it's probably stimulation of the nerve.
No, I know that, but what do you notice? What's a sensation that you might feel? Do you feel a
Um,
sensation?
yeah, I feel a sensation. Yeah, I'm very familiar with this sensation. And that is like, yeah, it feels like a little tiny electric currents.
That's what I feel
Yeah,
too, because
yeah.
we can feel different things. And this, Elise, is what's going to help you heal really quickly with
Really?
your yeah,
Great.
because
That's amazing.
you're going to work with waking these ancient systems up.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
You'll let the PT do their thing, but you're going to do this thing to wake it up, wake it up, wake it up. Little bits of stimulation, and that's the nerves connecting.
I don't have a PT now.
No, you will when you get a new hip. They're going to give you
Well,
a
yeah,
couple of
totally,
lessons.
totally, totally, of course. No, but
Yeah.
I hope I'm able to connect with you as
Oh, yeah.
often as I can when, yeah,
I will be here for you no
yeah.
matter what.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay.
Well, I can't say no matter what, but
Yeah, yeah, I know.
if
You do,
Putin
you do
launches
have a
missiles,
life.
I might be underground. No, I don't have anything
Please,
underground. Yeah.
please be
Yeah.
careful what you mention.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. There we go. Let me run and get salt and
Yeah, totally,
turn
totally.
around and everything. Okay. So now change hands over. Change hands over, and the other hand is underneath, and turn the steering wheel to your right or your other side. What? Yeah, just so that the right elbow comes up and the left elbow goes down. And you might notice,
I wanna ask you, can I look for another image for this elbow?
I
Because
know,
the
yes,
elbow coming up
yeah,
is is tricky because it sort of conjures the shoulder
yes,
coming.
yes, it does.
Don't
I
like it.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I feel the same. Oh, I got one. I got it. You'll notice that the space between the elbow and the ribs changes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
on your other side, the space between your elbow and your ribs changes in a different way.
Yes, that
In
I
one way, the
yeah.
space becomes larger,
Yes,
and in another way, the space becomes closer.
that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
And you want to know what? I'm glad you said that because that way works better for me. I do not like the idea of lifting and lowering because it's going to instigate the shoulders.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, oh,
It
you're very
instigates.
welcome. No, I'd say, this is, it actually relates to the piano as well. So,
Yeah, yeah.
it's something that I think about a lot is
Well,
elbows.
and I think if Moshe were teaching the lesson, Moshe would never use a word that's an activation word, right? Because it's connected your elbow and shoulder
Yeah, of
or the arm. So
course.
he would say, notice the space, the shape changes. The shape between one elbow and the ribs and the other elbow and the ribs, that shape changes. Because those are things you've never thought of, and that's not an active movement,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Very good. Very good. I like it.
okay. And then I'll bring your arms down and let them rest. And just very little tilt from one sit bone and the other. Don't tilt your head too much. It's a very
Oh,
small,
okay. Okay.
yeah, right? Because we can do it, but right now let's not. We could do it, but in this lesson, that's all. In this lesson, let's not,
Mhm.
because I want you to really get that feeling that the movement in this particular circumstance is so small, it's almost negligible.
Now I'm finding that when I tilt from one sit bone to the other, the opposite
Yes,
foot
yes,
goes
yes,
into the ground.
yes.
Is
You're
that
making
okay?
that's contralateral.
Yeah.
That's contralateral. It's changing. Now, now let's come back to the middle and just rest. Close your eyes. Let yourself breathe. Be balanced in your body. And this time, bring one ear toward the shoulder and then come back. And can you feel that something happens all the way down your body?
Yes. All the way into the pelvis.
That's right. And then come back. And the movement is oh so small.
So I'm not actually bringing it down enough to bend the spine. It's doing it by itself.
The spine is getting bent, but you're not actively bending the spine
Right.
like the steering wheel.
Okay. What about the
And
cervical spine in this particular movement?
okay, hold on. Just stay with this. I want you to go global. Let's not go parts. Let's go
Okay.
global in this part.
Okay.
And now make the movement so small I can barely see it. But I can see it, but it's so small. But you can notice that the movement makes a transmission all the way through your body.
Yes.
And then come back to the middle. Let yourself rest.
Yeah, that's very powerful.
And now, this time, almost in your imagination, with just a little bit of movement associated with it, bring the other ear towards that shoulder, towards the other shoulder, to its corresponding shoulder. So, in other words, you're bringing your left ear towards your left shoulder, and then you just come back to the middle. And do it so that it's easy and pleasurable. and come back to the center and rest. Come back to the middle.
Can I do the right shoulder again? Because I was doing both. I was
Okay.
not following your instructions
Oh, I got it.
badly.
Okay. Thank you. So go to the right. Very little, very little. So what we did in the beginning was we did the movement from the bottom up, meaning from the pelvis, focus of attention. And now we're doing it from the top down, from tilting the head one side and back to the middle again. And how does that transmit through your whole body? And what do you feel in your legs when you tilt your head from one side to the other? What do you feel in a foot, a heel, the side of your lower legs, your thighs, the inside of your thighs, into your back? To the easiness of your arms, and all the way back up to your head. Come back to the middle and rest.
I noticed that, and this is a long-standing problem, or a long-standing event. Um, I kind of hold my left leg, and that's the bunion leg. I have lots of nerve activity in that leg, from the toes to the butt. And I'm trying to work with it. But I'm noticing it now.
And keep in mind when we had the bunion, when we have a habit of moving around something, the psoas gets activated.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then the psoas gets tighter on one side. So that's why we do these lessons every day, a few times a day, literally a moment. I'll sit, couple of these, notice and go, oh, and it's the act of coming back to the middle and resting that is the aha, more than the movement is one level of an aha, but the coming back to the middle is a relief of an aha, where it's like, wow, I didn't even notice how much that was even holding on that side. Oh, life is so much better here.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Sometimes in life, we need to be an extremist, but that's not the only place you want to live because it's wear and tear, right? An extremist in belief is wear and tear because it doesn't allow us to experience walking in someone else's moccasins,
Right.
right? An extreme um, athletic sport,
Mm,
wear and tear.
yeah.
That's why those people need to come to that's why football players take ballet lessons.
Right. 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 Right.
Remember, who was the big black guy that knit? Do you remember back in the 60s?
I don't
Not,
remember, but
not Joe
I
Namath,
can imagine.
big guy. I think he was a linebacker, and I remembered he was the first one that knit because it helped him to focus. And he also took ballet. And they're like, what? You're a 300 and something. You bet. How do you think I'm able
Yeah.
to move?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So the same thing. We can have an extreme sport, but we have to learn these other
Mm,
finesse. And so the injury is like an extreme sport. It's dictating a lot of stuff, but it doesn't dictate as much as we think it does. No. Yeah.
it
I think
dictates
I said
more
that.
than.
No, it can dictate much less.
I
It
see. I see.
it can dictate much less. And how do we have it dictate much less? Is we do these little balancing movements, not right languaging. We do these little explorations
Mm,
where we experience it on one side, then we come back and rest and notice, have awareness.
mm,
Then we do these little explorations on the other side. And we're like, ooh, I do have a favorite side. I do have a side that it seems to make more sense. The other side, I can't quite get it to connect. Oh, that's a good lesson. That's a learning lesson.
mhm,
Thank you. That's the things, that's our talk to ourselves,
mm,
right?
mm, mm.
Okay. And then we come back and we go, oh, and then the psoas balances. When the psoas balances life, we're going to be able to get it in so many other ways.
Mm.
Now, we only did part one right now.
Okay.
This is what you do multiple little times a day,
Mhm,
for 15 seconds.
mhm.
That's it. A little bit of this, a little bit of this. Oh, ah, thank you. Uh-huh. Thank you. And now I'm back in the middle. Okay. Now,
I just
you
have
can,
one question before you go on to the other part.
yeah.
When I rest, I'm sitting in a big bergère chair with cushions. W- so when I rest, I tend to go back in the chair. Now, I don't. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
Well, that's giving up, giving in, resting.
I see.
That's the American version of resting,
Oh, okay,
right?
okay,
Not that that's a bad thing, right? But not in this case. We can't learn from that. What
okay.
we're doing is we're going, ah, that's a
Yeah.
different thing. In Feldenkrais, I want you to be in a learning space.
Okay.
After you've finished your learning space, you can go lie down and sleep. You can go lie down and rest and go anti-gravity and all of that. So that's a different thing. But you want to learn to experience your body in these different ways. And so that way it's more like when you're sitting at your kitchen table or your desk
Okay.
or something like that, that you can do it. It can be in a moment of standing, right? So it can be in a moment of standing where I'm holding on to something
Mm.
and I just give a little bit, oh, look, oh, I don't even tilt that way. I do tilt that way. Okay, maybe it's the chair. Hold on. So maybe it's where okay, let me tilt and my hands are really soft. Oh yeah. So it was the chair being on my one side. I thought it was me. So you see, I'm always exploring, is me not being able to bend one side the way I'm holding myself. So
I
I
see.
moved the chair to be there. And now, oh, look, and that was it. There, done.
Right. 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 Okay.
That's what I'm asking you to get to. So hold on a sec. There, where am I? Okay. So get back to light. There we go. Okay. So now we've done that for a few seconds. For us, it's not a few seconds, but let's say you go there. Then you can take your right hand and you put it under your rib, and you can put your left hand. So you're putting it under you're taking the right hand and you're putting it under the left ribs. And you're just creating a source of support. Yep.
Mm.
And you can even take your left hand and put it on. And now look how I'm making around the clock around using my ribs.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
I know. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, it feels great.
Notice your breathing. And then give that same love up the ribs, going up on the side, and there, going around. Oh, oh.
That's great.
And then slowly let the hands slide down and slide along your thighs and rest down on your thighs. Ah. And then take your left hand and give that love to your right ribs, the same lower ribs, and put your right hand on that left hand and just give it love and support. And you can use your fingers, you can use your fingers to bend your ribs. So the left hand, the fingers, they're really making support contact
Yeah.
with those ribs and they're moving your ribs. Look, they're moving your ribs. So you see how your hands really moving
Yeah.
and you can even go up a little bit. Let your fingers, let those piano fingers individuate. You can even feel your fingers to go between the ribs.
Yeah.
Feel that?
Yeah.
See, and then you can even feel that in your abdomen, something releases when you work those back ribs. And then let your hands slide down your thighs. And rest. Does
Feels
that
wonderful.
it
Amazing.
feel like a vacation, right?
Yeah. It also
Wow,
feels wonderful in my upper thoracic spine
I believe that.
because you're actually working that too.
You're working all of it.
Mm, sorry.
So again, go ahead and put your right hand under your ribs. And remember, this time you're really letting your fingers move, move you. But they're just giving you that love and support. And you use the words, thank you, I love you,
I love you.
and thank you.
Thank
Ah, and you can lower them to lower ribs, not doing too much, but just enough.
I never felt my ribs.
Yeah, go figure. And no one even told you, stop playing with your ribs.
That's not what they called it in my day.
I know. But come back. I remember, come back to the middle. There was a stage in my life. I remember my father used to say, don't play with your toes.
Really?
I was always playing with my toes until one day he re-met Moshe Feldenkrais, who said, are you kidding? These are all the Feldenkrais lessons we have with working with the toes. It's important. And my dad, for some reason, because my dad had such bent toes, because they were so poor, they had to wear shoes with the toes cut out and all of
Oh,
that in the snow in Germany. Yeah, it was, they didn't have money. So a single mother with like 5 children, trying to raise. So
oh,
everything was a hand me down. And then until your toes go out of the shoe or they get crunched in the shoe. And so
yeah,
he had all that. So he thought, leave the toes alone. Don't mess with the toes. When in fact is, are you kidding? The more you mess with the toes with your
the
fingers,
better.
the better. So he was like, I'm so sorry. Will you forgive me? I'm like, of course will I forgive you. I have great toes anyway. I didn't
Mm.
have your childhood experiences. So my toes live free. I was in California running around barefoot. So in sandals or something. So it's the, that's why I'm joking, like, oh, if anyone ever told you don't play with your ribs, but for whatever reason, we never do these things on our ribs.
No,
What is with that? I don't know.
we never hug ourselves.
No, that this is hugging ourselves.
Yeah, yeah,
Why?
totally.
That's why it's thank you. I love you.
Mhm.
And this, Elise, is what's going to help you heal the ribs. I know for me, I have a rib that wants to pop out if I laugh too hard.
I can
When
understand that.
I laugh too hard and I laugh harder on one side than the other, and I'm always grabbing myself right under, going, oh my God, my rib is going to go out. My rib is going to go out. And I'm laughing so hard and I'm trying to hold my rib from going out. It's something, the internal pressure. There's an internal pressure of the laugh from inside that's coming out.
Amazing.
And I'm having to hold it. And, my husband's like, Elinor, most women pee. Your rib is going out. I laugh harder under this rib. I don't know.
That's
So
so funny.
so the thing is that also a fall can happen, a crack can happen, a rib rotates out, and when a rib rotates out on an impact, the intercostal muscle, those muscles between the ribs, get stretched, and the nerves in there, they feel it, and it hurts like the dickens when all it is a rib slightly rotated out.
Amazing.
So when you do this and you get under here, right? When you get under here and you do this, not with the intention to go as a chiropractor to pop a rib in, but to encourage the movement. So here we went side to side, but then we can go under. Sorry about my boobs here, but then we can go under and we can go back. We can go back,
Okay. Yeah.
right? So we can go back this way. So we can go side to side. We can go around the circle. That's number two. And then we can go around the circle this
The other
way,
way.
right? Yeah, but look at me. We can then go around the circle this way,
Right.
forward and back and down, and forward and up and back and down. And then we can go back, up, forward, and
Forward, down.
down, and then back, and then up. So we could, do you see what I'm saying? So we've got those three things. So what we have is, um, okay, let's start with, we move the sit bones side to
Right.
side to move through our spine. Then we tilt the ear side to side. That's number two. Number three, we add the steering wheel. Okay. Then number four, we put the hand under the ribs in different places, and we just go side to side and say, thank you, I love you. And we can use our fingers to move and feel our ribs, right? We
Mm.
can really feel our ribs. We can go side to side. We can go around the clock. And then we can go around the clock up and back and down. And then we can go around the clock from the forward, down, back, up, forward, down, back, up. That's a lot. That is a whole
That's a
day.
lot. Yeah.
That's a whole day's worth of lessons.
Yeah. That's
That's a
very,
full
very,
day
very
workshop
helpful.
right there.
Yes. Yes.
And so those are the things you're going to do for the next 2 weeks.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Your ribs are going to love you, and they're going to say, wow, I never thought I could be so flexible and movable. And then when things keep getting better and better, and a moment of a quick movement happens, you will have more directions in which to go in to take care of yourself instead of a direct fall down.
Got it.
You'll be the ballet and move, woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. without having to do core strengthening. Last time
Exactly.
I haven't seen baby working core strengths.
No, exactly, exactly. I I wanted to send you my grandson conducting, my two and a
Oh,
half year old grandson conducting with a
oh,
huge baton because my ex-husband was is a conductor, so
yes,
he gave
right.
him a proper adult baton, and
Oh
he
my god. Okay,
loves
so
it.
why can't you send it to me? I
I
want to.
can, I can. I had to clip it because it was too big.
Oh, got it.
So I can say I'll send it to you. I
Can
promise.
you
I'll
can
send
you
it to you
send it to me?
today.
Send it to me today. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
That's
All right.
wonderful.
That's wonderful.
Love your ribs. Love
Yes,
your
yes.
ribs.
Yes,
And
yes.
you will
I will.
see your ribs will be better, whether there's a crack or not. It doesn't matter. Everybody
That
comes
is so
through with a crack here.
reassuring as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a cracked
that's great.
ribs, and then what? No, if it's just bruised. Oh, okay. Oh no, it's rotated out of place. Okay, there. All three did the same thing.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. 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 Thank you. I love this lesson. This is great.
Me too. I'll see you in 2 weeks, and
Okay.
I'll put this up for recording
Okay.
and send
Then
you the
I'll have
link.
it. Very
Okay,
good. Thank
I
you,
love you.
Elinor. Take care. I love you too.
And oops, 1 second, 1 second.
What?
Let's look at
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks. The 16th, right?
The 16th. That sounds right. That's a Thursday, as
Yes.
usual.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
Um,
16th.
okay. Okay. Perfect. I love you.
I love you too. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Bye bye. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.